Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to talk to you about the state of our Wilmer Eye Institute. My one disclosure is not relevant to the topic I'll be addressing this morning. Together, let's enumerate a few of the key accomplishments of Wilmer people this year, and Wilmer people have indeed been extremely busy this year, as I hope you'll appreciate. And also, I'd like to share some data regarding some metrics on Wilmer's success in our tripartite mission of patient care, research, and education. A few milestones that we should note during this past year of COVID pandemic. I normally don't put a whole bunch of attention on rankings, but in the middle of the pandemic, the ranking came out of department chairs around the country, ranking Wilmer number one overall and number one in research and NIH funding. And I'd just like to shout out to all the people involved in making that happen, and hopefully have people enjoy during the midst of a pandemic and external recognition such as this. During this time, we've achieved over a faculty, over 200 members of our full-time faculty. And as Milton Greenbaum pointed out to us recently, March 2021 was the busiest month clinically in Wilmer's history, and we're way ahead of where the Dean's Office projected we'd be in terms of research grants by about 20%, so really remarkable. A few other individual recognitions. Peter Gelbach received the J. Willard Marriott Professorship. He is the inaugural recipient, and we're very grateful to Mr. Marriott and the Marriott family for making this possible. Ilya Du has become the new recipient of the G. Edward and G. Britton Durrell Professorship, which supports scientists working in the area of AMD. And Amir Kashani is the new Boone Pickens Professor of Ophthalmology. So congratulations to all these individuals, and we'll have to celebrate all these events in a party after COVID is over. Congratulations are also in order for our faculty who have been promoted to the rank of Associate Professor during this pandemic, thereby ensuring the future success of the Wilmer Institute. These include Bonnie Lynn Sweenor, Yassine Daoud, Alan Agrari. Here's a picture of Alan in Africa back when the virus we all were concerned about, it was Ebola and not coronavirus. And Everardo Hernandez Quintela and Nicholas Mahoney. So congratulations to all these faculty. And again, we'll be able to have a nice big party after the pandemic concludes. After incredibly long and extremely successful careers, we have the opportunity to wish the happiest of retirements to a large number of Wilmer faculty this year, including Barry Blum, Charles Castoro, Stan Coleman, Malin Howard, Richard Coker, Jerry Luddy, Bob Massoff, Neil Miller, and Leon Strauss. Congratulations to you all. I think cumulatively, these individuals have spent about 400 years contributing to a Wilmer and/or ophthalmology. Yes, this COVID was the central story, I guess, of this year, but how we responded, how Wilmer people responded to this pandemic is a great success story that I hope we learned a lot from and that we can celebrate. On the clinical side, our Vice Chair of Clinical Practice, Michael Repka, and Lynn Young helped make sure we got the best information. We got personal protective equipment as soon as possible, and we were able to make logical approaches to how to address the problem and run our clinics as well as possible. We ramped down dramatically, and then we ramped back up very dramatically, very quickly, and very successfully. And during the pandemic, none of our frontline staff became seriously ill and had to be hospitalized, and luckily we didn't lose anyone. Laura Ensign on the research side, our brilliant vice chair for research, did what needed to be done in terms of ramping down the research, keeping everyone safe, and then ramping back up in a very safe and successful manner so that we enjoy an extremely productive and safe research environment. And then Divya Srikumaran, the third leg of our mission, our educational mission, done a great job supporting education at Wilmer and our residents. And even you'll find, if you ask, our residents will have done more surgery this year, not less, despite the pandemic. And it's a great success story when it comes to education. Wilmer nurses, again, did a great job. I have a photograph from when we were all allowed to take photos together. But Wilmer nurses did things like make instructional videos on how to use personal protective equipment when we needed to learn how to do those things. It was a Wilmer nurse who gave me one of my vaccine shots. And basically the Wilmer nurses did whatever needed to be done, what was requested of them, helping out in some other areas when needed, some other areas in the hospital, and kept, I think, during this whole time, an extremely positive and helpful attitude that I know all of us at Wilmer very much appreciate. All of you know how blessed we are to have such an outstanding group of residents at Wilmer, and this year probably second to none. When we were in the early throes of the pandemic, and there needed to be emergency consults in the emergency room, or consults of severely ill COVID patients in our intensive care units. The Wilmer residents responded to those needs, and they did it with smiles on their faces. I never heard a word of complaint, and all I get from other departments is expressions of their appreciation for what a great job our residents have done. And I mentioned to you they've been working super hard during the pandemic, to the point where, while a lot of other programs are talking about how the resident volume was negatively impacted when it comes to surgery, our residents are actually busier this year, performing more surgery done by our residents. And I really do feel the need to mention the great leadership provided by our current chief resident, Ravi Pandit, and his predecessor, Tom Johnson, shown here with a former Wilmer resident. Ravi and Tom are the embodiment of great leadership, calm under pressure, looking out for their residents, and making sure that issues of concern to the residents are brought to the faculty's attention. So in addition to my appreciation, and I'm sure all of our appreciation for all of our great residents, I particularly want to express my appreciation for our outstanding chief residents. I don't have enough time in my presentation to mention all the individual awards and recognitions that have accrued to Wilmer faculty despite this pandemic. Peter Campachero received the Proctor Medal and gave the Proctor Lecture at this year's virtual ARVO. Tom Johnson received the David L. Epstein Award, and our own Sheila West got the Helen Keller Prize in recognition of her tremendous work in public health. A really remarkable achievement this year has been the creation of new centers that not only involve Wilmer faculty, but other departments in the medical school, and in some cases spanning the university and involving many schools within the university. Mandeep Singh and Jeff Doyle have created a genetic eye disease institute center within Wilmer, and hopefully soon you're going to be hearing presentations from them at our faculty meeting, but this has been an incredible success in a partnership with the Department of Genetic Medicine. Alvin Liu has been awarded a Center of Excellence, Precision Medicine, using artificial intelligence, focusing on artificial intelligence, and particularly artificial intelligence in terms of guiding therapy in retinal disease. And this collaboration includes the School of Engineering, the Applied Physics Laboratory, Biomedical Engineering Department, and is a great example of a multi-departmental center. Megan Collins has been appointed the Executive Director of the Johns Hopkins Center for School-Based Health, Equity, and Youth Engagement by President Ron Daniels. And this is a program that includes Wilmer, the School of Medicine, the School of Public Health, the Berman Institute for Bioethics, and just as a university-wide effort to improve life in the city of Baltimore, but it's also being adopted, this model is being adopted by cities around our country. And then Bonnie Lynn Sweenor has been appointed by President Daniels as the director of the Johns Hopkins Disability Health Research Center. So Al Summer previously created the Dana Center at Wilmer that partnered with the School of Public Health and other parts of the university. But this year, an incredible 4 such centers have been created, and it's a tribute to the energy and vision of our faculty to make this happen. Speaking of energy and vision, a publication called theophthalmologist.com put out its PowerList for 2021 of the most influential women in the field of ophthalmology, and 3 of them are Wilmer women, Essa Nakpek, Adrian Scott, and Bonnie Lynn Sweenor. And I think, like me, you could probably imagine they could have filled up that list with just Wilmer women faculty and Wilmer residents, like you see in the bottom photograph. So we're delighted to have this external recognition of what we all know are outstanding women faculty and women trainees at the Wilmer Institute. I'd like to spend a moment in grateful recognition of the support that the Institute has received this year from some of our great alumni. There's a new prize, the Stuart and Ellie Fine Prize, for the most outstanding research by a Hopkins medical student in ophthalmology. And we're very grateful for Stuart and Ellie making that happen, and hopefully helping to continue this pipeline of great Hopkins medical students that choose to pursue careers in ophthalmology. We are grateful to Morton and Myrna Goldberg for creating the inaugural, this will be the inaugural year of the Morton and Myrna Goldberg Prize, which acknowledges outstanding citizenship and the embodiment of Wilmer integrity and professionalism by a Wilmer resident. And so we're very, very grateful to Mort and Myrna for making this possible. And then, in a announcement that I'm very excited to share with you, Jonathan and Marcia Javit have decided to create something called the Rising Professorship. And this will be a professorship not for a senior distinguished Wilmer faculty member, but for a faculty member just starting out in their very beginning of their career, where Jonathan and Marcia feel that the funds provided by the professorship will have a tremendous impact in terms of jumpstarting the young faculty members' productivity and setting them on the meteoric path to academic success. So we are very grateful to Jonathan and Marcia, both who have themselves risen very rapidly in the academic ladder, for paying back in this way and helping our young trainees or young new faculty just starting out to follow in their footsteps and be as successful as possible. Speaking of appreciation to alumni, I am delighted to let you know that we are more than halfway there to completing the funding for the Neil Miller Professorship. This will honor Neil's long, successful career at Wilmer and also help ensure that future generations of Wilmer residents will benefit from the outstanding teaching and clinical experience from working with the greatest neuro-ophthalmology division in the world. And I'd like to thank all of the alumni, over 80, who have contributed to this professorship. If your name should be on here and I accidentally left it off, I apologize. Let me or our development staff know, and we'll correct that. If your name is not on here and you would like it to be on here, all contributions would be welcome, and you can reach out to Jim Livingood in our development office and let him know that you'd like to join the effort to complete this professorship. Speaking of ensuring excellence of our neuro-ophthalmology division, I know that you will agree with me that in any area, leadership is key. And I'm delighted to announce to all of you that the new chief of our neuro-ophthalmology division will be Dr. Amanda Henderson, and you see her here with her mentor, Neil Miller. So we're delighted to see that Amanda, the first woman recruited to join our neuro-ophthalmology division, will now be the first female division chief of neuro-ophthalmology at the Wilmer Institute. Also, I'm pleased to share with you the news that Nick Mahoney will be our new chief of oculoplastic and reconstructive surgery. And with the brilliant, energetic leadership of these two individuals, I know that you share my optimism for the future, for their divisions, and for Wilmer overall. So what is the state of the Wilmer Institute? I wish I could cover a lot more of all the great things that are going on. But what I'd like to do is reassure you that despite pandemics and all the other issues that have come up in the last year or two, by all measures, Wilmer is enjoying tremendous success thanks to all the hard work of the people listening to my voice right now and all the people who work at Wilmer. By research, by any metric, our research programs are outstanding and the envy of the rest of the world. It's clear to me we enjoy the best residents, the best fellows, and the best teachers in our educational mission. And our patient care is exemplified by exemplary access and the constant efforts of so many to do our best every day on behalf of our patients. So thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you this morning.